Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I got another walk around video for you. We have this lovely looking old 5J in front of us. This is actually going to tie into the 5J number 1113 restoration series, because this tractor is the Plan B that I mentioned in the last video I did on that. This is the original, the first 5J, the first D2 I ever bought. It used to be my grandfather's. It's been pretty worked over and had a hard life. This is 5J 2115 SP. The SP means special parts. This has the optional higher speed third and fourth gear in the transmission that was used in a lot of ag applications. Like I said, this old 5J has had a rough life. It's been patched up. It's got this little headache rack that my grandpa had made for it. It used to be a fender tank setup. You can see he had this big tank made to go behind the rack. Fender tank used to sit right here. And they were short fenders. You can see where they used to end, but then he had a guy weld some extensions to hold the tank. He put that rack on because when he got it, he used it in the woods for a few years in a firewood business, and that's far from a rollover protection system, but it was enough to keep any kind of wayward branches from coming directly down upon you, so it was better than nothing. But like I said, this old cat's had a rough life. It was the very first one I ever bought, and I ran it for a few years, but I have since parked it and started scavenging pieces off of it for my other projects, because this thing's pretty much wore out through and through. I did drive it to this spot. The engine runs, it's very loose. It was a real smoker, had a lot of blow-by. You can see I've scavenged the starting engine off of it, a few other pieces. Come around here, you can see fuel pump's gone. I needed that for a different project, but otherwise everything that's here is the same as 5J 1113, except for this is a 1939 model year, so it's a year newer. Pardon that train in the background. You look at the date code on the engine block, it is a, that's 5/22/39, so this block is just about a year younger than the original block out of 1113. We have the correct 4B 8522 casting number. Everything about this block is absolutely correct and fully interchangeable with 1113. So I'm going to pull the engine out of this and strip it down, see if I can't rebuild it, fit it to 1113, because like I said, this cat is just not a rebuilder. They had somehow broken a lot of things off of it. The whole oil filler, you can see, has been brazed and broken off, brazed, repaired. The original manifolds that were on it had been broken off. The flanges had all been brazed back on, almost like they had rolled it over at one time. Go around here, you can see I've also scavenged the drawbar brackets and swing plate off of it for another tractor. But this is what really gets me. If you look close, under all the grease, you can see a brazing line here, some more brazing right there, some more brazing down here. They had actually ripped the whole back end off this transmission housing at one time. Drawbar brackets and everything. That usually happens from wrapping a chain around the swing plate instead of around the drawbar, because this case was not meant to be the pull point. Rather, the anchor plate up there for the drawbar is the pull point. So that's likely what happened. But they repaired it fairly well. You can see some circular machining marks. So after they brazed it, they did have that whole back end of this case faced. So they actually did a pretty good job, but not a fixer for me. Not something I'm going to put anything else into. And I figure it's going to be a good parts candidate for old 1113. Toolbox is actually a Farmall H battery box. Different style seat. Wasn't uncomfortable, but the rack on it, like I say, is something my grandpa had made. And I learned with this cat about how unstable D2s are, and how you don't want to run a short track framed machine up over a berm and down the other side because of the way they pitch. It happened in just about this spot right here, dozing on that dirt pile there, which is honestly 18 years ago now. I had a little bit of a berm fixed up, or dozed up. I had been trying to move and stir that pile a little bit, just playing around, learning how to run a cat, sitting in the seat, and I start driving up that dirt pile, or that little berm, and I'm just trying to get to the other side, and I notice I'm seeing more of the trees, more of the trees, more of the trees, and I'm thinking, crap, this thing's going to go over center pretty soon. So the same instant that I released the main clutch, it went over center, and I launched out of the seat, and my forehead hit about this area right here on this headache rack. ever since then I've had a pretty good scar above my left eye, split that wide open. But that's how I learned not to run a D2 straight up a berm. You always take it at an angle. So you could say Caterpillars literally made their mark on me with that experience right there, and happened almost in the same spot, like I say. So, but yeah, my grandpa used this in the woods for many, many years. He moved houses with it. He was a carpenter contractor. I actually have pictures of him moving the house in that he ended up living in. And then he did some other work with it, like filling in the foundation of the old house that he had tore down next to where he put the new one. And then of course I got it years later and then used it a little bit, but it's since become a parts donor because I got some better 5Us and it's pretty much been parked. So I know it's pretty cold out here. You can tell by all the frost that's in the hood, but I think I'm going to get to work pulling this engine out of here. That'll be a video for another time. One last thing I wanted to show you. I have this neat tag on the grill. You can see William H. Ziegler Company. That's our local cat dealer, still is to this day, Ziegler Cat. It's an old lot tag, number 201. I don't know how long that's been on there, but it's kind of a neat little piece of history. I'm sure it's hung there for decades on end. So anyway, that's the Walkaround to 2115. Hopefully this is going to be my plan B engine donor for old 1113, because I'm not going to do anything else with this machine. So I might as well take the leftover good parts off of it and see if I can make it live on again. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next time. We're going to start pulling this engine out.